They are sending all these half-educated, so-called educated, they are not really educated, to the world to manage. So, that's a big transition we have to make. And there's a further transition. And that transition is spiritual transition. The society is totally based in this materialistic culture, where we think that I am because I own. I think we have to change to that. And we have to go from this materialistic culture to a more spiritual, relationship-based culture. Reality is not a thing. Reality is the relationship among things. Where at the moment, the reality has become what I own. My money, my house, my car. So that is a big transition which not only we have to think about society in general, or governments, or business, or banks, or multinational corporations, but each and every one of us citizens. We have to make that transition. I mean, British economy and British state, British country, is the 4th richest economy in the world. And yet, every day you get up and put the radio on, Today program. Every day you open the newspaper in the morning, Guardian, Times, Telegraph, worst of all, Daily Mail. I don't read it, but I've heard about it. Every evening, news night, what do you hear there? Just economy, economy, economy. Money, money, money. That's a materialistic culture. And we are all addicted and conditioned to think everything in terms of money and finance. And that is a big transition that society has to make. That instead of talking about money and finance, we'll talk about values. How compassionate and kind and how generous and caring our society is for each other and for ourselves. We don't have time for ourselves, never mind that our diaries are full and we don't have time even for our friends and our parents and our neighbors. We don't have time for ourselves. So my suggestion would be to make this transition from materialistic culture to a spiritual culture is we stop working more than 3 days a week for making money. How about that? No more than 3 days a week. So that remaining 3 or 4 days, we have time to do gardening, to cooking, our friends, our family, our children, our little ones, to educate them, to go for a walk, to meditate, to do yoga, to write a poetry, a poem, paint a picture. Just be. Be in nature. Stand and stare. Be happy, fulfilled, joyful. No good making transition from globalization to localization. No good making transition from all these other kind of money-based society to more kind of ecological society, unless we are also prepared to make transition in our personal lives. And that is the source of well-being. We do not really have enough respect for ourselves. We are lacking in recognition of what capacity and what potential we have. Every one of us have a tremendous potential, unrecognized, dormant, suppressed. Suppressed by society and suppressed by ourselves. We have given up. From the childhood, in our universities, we have been told one thing. What you have to do is to get a job. That's the purpose of education. Pass exams, get a piece of degree, so you better get a job. Well-paid job. I was also at LSE, asked this question. You are talking about all these wonderful things. Students asked me this time. And say, what do you give us advice? What do you advise us to do? I said, when you leave university, don't seek a job. What do you mean? What are you going to do? Create a job. Be a creator. You are a creator. You are a person with imagination. The moment you get a job given to you by somebody, a bank or a building society or a Tesco or supermarket or some business, but you have to just follow the orders of the boss. Follow the rules from the book. You will have no chance to use your initiative, creativity, imagination. They said, good challenge. Good challenge. Given two challenges. Number one, change the name of LSE. And second, leave LSE without looking for a job. Two challenges. There was a wonderful artist historian in India called Ananda Kumara Swami. And he said, wonderful line. He said, an artist is not a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of artist. Get the line? An artist is not a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of artist. Can we bring that sentence into our schools, into our universities? That you are a special person. You are a potential Picasso. You are a potential Beethoven or Bach. You are a potential Gandhi. You are a potential Buddha. This morning in the church I was speaking and somebody said to me that Jesus said, I am the way, I am God. I said, yes. It's a wonderful line. Jesus is speaking for you. You are the way. You are God. Every one of us is a potential Jesus. We don't recognize our spirituality. We don't have time to think about ourselves. We have no time. In the morning you get up and get ready quickly and go in the car and go and find a job, do your job. Come home exhausted, maybe buy some of the food, not in this audience maybe. Buy food at Marks and Spencer or somewhere ready-made, eat in front of television. That's our society. This is a spiritual bankruptcy. We talk about poverty in India, but the spiritual poverty of the West is phenomenal. And unless we address these hard, difficult, and uncomfortable questions about our own lives, we are not going to make a good transition. Even if you have all your energy supplied by windmills and solar power, even if all your energy is dependent not on fossil fuel or renewable energy, but we are still rushing and on the treadmill and rat race, materialism, and no time for yourself, and no time to be. We are not human doings. We are not human havings. We are human beings. Have you got time to be? Just be. We have enough. We don't need more economic growth in our country. We have enough. We have to celebrate. We have to cherish. We have to enjoy. In India we call it Ananda. Joy. Ananda. You know, when Indian young men take on the robe of a Hindu monk, they change their name. You might have heard some of those names. Their name is changed, and every name they take has to end with the word Ananda. So you might have heard of Muktananda, Yogananda, Shivananda, Satyananda, Dayananda. All names end with Ananda, which means joy. And the aim of life, the purpose of life, and the meaning of life is Ananda, joy. that pleasure, that delight of life, and taking this joy and delight in the universe, the beauty and the awe and wonder of the universe, the magic and the mystery of every moment, taking joy and celebration and ananda in that. If you are a yogi, you are doing yoga every morning, yoga every evening, long yoga for the weekend, go on yoga courses, but you are miserable. What's good of yoga? So yoga nanda, you have to have yoga with joy. If joy is not there, yoga is no good. We have three wonderful words in India. One is Sat, Chit and Ananda. So Sat means, like my name, Satish, Sat, truth, reality. And reality is Chit, conscious. It has consciousness. Consciousness is primary. Everything else is secondary. The reality is based and emerges out of consciousness. And when reality and consciousness is realized, understood, appreciated, you have result, joy, ananda. So the basic Indian philosophy is rooted in Sat, Chit, Ananda. Truth, reality, consciousness and joy. So I would like our transition movement to move from this rat race, more money, more high living standard, materialistic work and life, to a more joy-based, blissful, delightful, kind, loving. We have to start to live not in the landscape of birth, but in the landscape of love. That's a spiritual transition. And they are all connected. I have three words: soil, soul and society. Soil is natural world. Soul is the spiritual self, and society is the economics and politics and finance and business and all the rest. So soil, soul, society, these are three connected. So when we are making a transition down movement, it's a big picture. It's not just transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy, because that is coming. That is coming. And transition down movement is making a huge contribution in bringing that about, making big impact. But now businesses are jumping on the bandwagon. And there are lots of people trying to make money out of windmills. And lots of businesses are trying to get money out of solar energy. And even governments are putting more money and going to put more money. And there's a more pressure on the governments to put money in renewable energy. So that's coming. But that is not enough. And if the transition down movement gets stuck only on that level and doesn't have a much bigger picture, then I think we will miss out something. So transition down movement has to be on the forefront of a much bigger transition, that is transition from peak oil and fossil fuel based economy to renewable based economy, but economy in its place. And particularly finance and money in its place. It has a place, but keep it in its place. Land, labor, capital. Capital is in third place. Keep it in third place and don't put money in the first place. The land, sacred land, and our motherland. And it has intrinsic value, the spiritual value of the land. We have to have a reverence for the land. And labor is people. And people have intrinsic value. People are not there only instruments of making money for big corporations. People are not there only to consume big shops, shopping malls and shopping areas, so that you are just instruments of consumption, so that they can make big business and more economic growth. And when they have a Christmas and a bit of snow falling, and people don't go to shops, they all know, people are not buying. People are there only valued because they can buy. Is that all our value is?